All right, well, welcome to the presentation. Thanks for joining us. We'll jump right into it. So, Isogenics has been around since 2002. So we're, 20 years old now. And I've been with Isogenics since 2005. And when I got started, there was about 6 different products and 3 main pillars that are still with us today. We've added some more main pillars, but a lot of other products too that just they've improved the science and quality, and that's their aim, and they've been able to do it. So they're not just your Me Too products, but I'd say we have probably a good 10 to 12 main pillars now, products that you just don't want to be without. So there's a solution for everything. We have a workout line, performance, and aging, and just in every area there's something that would fit for somebody's needs. And we're really aging gracefully in Isogenics. It's all about longevity and youthfulness, and as we get older. And for sure, Isogenics is leading the way in that. And you'll see as we go through this presentation. All right, so let's start into it. Just a quick, brief overview. We're going to talk about what I call the Forever Pack. And it's a couple products that I had put together, a couple pillars that I was mentored by Bill Andrews, the geneticist, who's being featured in Popular Science here. One of the longest articles ever on one person in that magazine, about 14 pages long. And his whole thing was about helping the body to really heal itself and for people to stay young while they're alive. And he knew that the body could heal itself on that level. At least he believed it in theory. And he was able to prove it by 1997. And so we're going to talk about that. That's this product here in the middle. Got one right here. And then these 2 canisters are our superfood meal replacement. And together as a system using our products, Dr. Paul Arciero has done I think he said he's done over 90 clinical studies now, peer review, and that have been published. And he did our studies. And he said that we're outperforming the macros, the whole foods that you'd buy at the grocery store. We're outperforming it. Because with supplements, you can make it even better and more, a lot more synergistic in its formulation, more micronutrients as far as a wider variety, and then the adequate amounts, which is really the challenge for today is in today's world is for people to get the adequate amount of nutrients from their food that they're eating, including whole foods, your raw foods. And we're leading the way. We outperformed them in a 6-month study, and we'll talk about that. But this is lined up so that we're replacing a meal every day with this unmatched, unparalleled meal, and then supporting our telomeres, which has to do with our DNA. So we'll go through and talk about that in more detail on a scientific level, physiology and nutritionally, and what that's doing. The goal of the company and mission statement to unlock the secrets of science and nature and to free people, both physically and financially. They've always had it as where the customers share their results with other people because they're excited about it. It's kind of a word of mouth is how Isogenics has grown. I think we're at about $9 billion now. And I was a mechanic struggling financially. I was always trying to make more money, and I had a paper out. I woke up at 4:30 every morning. I did that for about 4 years. I still can't believe I did that, but you do what you have to do. And I didn't do that because I liked it, that's for sure. But raising 5 kids, and trying to meet the needs financially, we were struggling, and we weren't meeting the needs. We were behind for sure. But Isogenics, to tell you the truth, I said no to the products. My wife tried to get me to buy them, and then she actually entered a drawing, and she won the products, which is a total answer to my prayer and a prayer that she had as well for me. And so the products were more than met my expectation by a long shot. And I'm pretty entrepreneurial, and so I saw the opportunity to share the information that backed the results. And because I chose to do that 17 years ago, me and my wife have been paid $10 million now. I'm known as the mechanic to millionaire in the company. I'm also going to just show some pictures on this collagen, and there's a lot of science behind it, but it's a breakthrough in collagen in the results that it's producing. I call it a market disruptor it's producing results unlike any collagen before. So I'm not going to go into the science of that tonight, but we'll talk about these 3 products and I'll show some pictures on this 3rd product. This was me at 36 years old and sick, overweight, and broke. And I had some, pretty serious health issues. And it wasn't due to a lack of trying and eating right and exercising. It just wasn't working. And so I'm 36 there. I think I'm 50 here, almost 5 years ago now. And, Isogenics gave me my life back and that healthy aging and youthful vitality. And so here I am, be 55 pretty soon. And I really feel like I'm able to do just as much or more than I've ever done. And I was pretty active in high school and wrestled, played football, baseball, and, and I would put myself up against the me back then for sure. And in some ways, I'm actually doing better. So that's because I'm taking products that weren't available to me back then. And you are what you eat. And if you can improve the products you're putting in your body, you're going to improve the performance. And that's, simple, I guess, math, you could say. 2 + 2 = 4. And that's pretty much what that is. You put in a better product that's going to support your body better, and you're going to perform better. It doesn't really matter how age chronologically. That's, there's some misnomers about that, and we're going to talk about that when it comes to the DNA. So this was me at 36 years old, and I was working out just like when I was playing sports in high school and wrestling and really vigorous workouts and doing extreme stuff. And I was doing that here. It was about the 3rd time I was going for it, and it didn't work before. But you get up. I get discouraged, and you end up backsliding again, and then you get tired and sick and sick and tired of being overweight and tired all the time, and my health needed to improve. So I went for it again. It didn't work the last time, but maybe it'll work this time. And it wasn't. And I was juicing. I was putting collard greens and broccoli and celery. That stuff does not taste good. I'd throw apples and oranges in there to try to offset the taste. It still didn't. But I don't care how things taste if I'm going to get the result. It's just the way I am. And I was eating salads and tuna right out of the can and oatmeal with just hot water in it and supplementing. I was doing all those things and it still wasn't working. You combine that with the exercising I was doing, it was extreme. Riding my bike to work and back every day, I just forced myself. I didn't feel like it. I just forced myself to. It's 100 miles every 5 days. Then running stadiums and lifting weights, and I was about ready to quit again. And that's when my wife found Isogenics, and she actually entered a drawing and won the products because I said no to it. Here I was praying for something and God sends the answer, and I said no. But, I still had that prayer and exercising faith that something would come. And it did. And this is my 1 month transformation with no exercise. I might have did some walking, maybe a little bit of jogging, but they just wanted me to see what the results of the products would produce and not think that it was my exercise and all of a sudden kicking in. So I released 27 pounds in 25 days. And I ended up releasing a total of 53 pounds. I started exercising and working out again after the middle picture. And that's 4.5 months total. And I was at a plateau. So that's even more profound, at least for me. I could try to pass that on to you, but I was eating healthy and supplementing and exercising extreme and at a plateau. Like I wasn't losing any weight. It was really frustrating because the scale would even go up a little bit. And I was obese right there. And it took me right through that plateau and then took me back to my high school weight, which just was, and my fatigue that I've always had, gone. I haven't had a coffee, soda, or a Rockstar energy drink in 17 years. We really should be getting that stuff from our nutrition. And if the nutrition is complete and balanced, you'll have good brain energy as well. And a lot of people go to energy things that are not healthy. They actually break the body down and sometimes leave you worse off after it wears off. And that's not a good form of energy. It's a form of energy, but not a good one. And this is a good form of energy. And then this breakthrough with the geneticist partnering up with our company, Dr. Bill Andrews, this is a breakthrough into a whole new era, and it's turning the clock back in our cells. So this is me as a representation of that. That's me. I think I'm 48 there, and I'm working out 20 to 25 minutes a day, 5 and 6 days a week. That's it. Not even close to what I was working out here. And I'm enjoying life. Like I don't have to eat super strict. It's about getting the nutrients in. And that pretty much takes care of it. I mean, and even in the results, over 80% of your results going to come from what you eat. So we even see that in livestock. You feed livestock, good, healthy food for them, like grass-fed versus high corn diet. They're not healthy. They need antibiotics, and they would die in a certain amount of time without the antibiotics. So diet really makes a big difference, huge difference. And the reason they feed the cattle so much grain and corn is because they put on weight really fast, and then they can slaughter them at a younger age. So again, you are what you eat. Kind of another representation of this is Wendy. Wendy was in the same, fell into the same category as me. We were only in our 30s. I was in my 30s there. She's in her 30s. And she said my body wasn't responding. And I wasn't getting the results that I wanted to get. And I was supplementing and eating healthy and working out, and it just wasn't working. So she had kind of written it off to getting older, just like I did. And then she got on isogenics, and her body started responding just like mine. Our clinical study shows the same thing. And she's won 2 world champion titles now. And what are we in November 2022? So I'm going to get this recorded and get it up on YouTube. But in 3 days, she's going for her 3rd world champion. We're really rooting for her to go for a 3-peat. And she looks better than I've ever seen her look right now. All of her posts on Facebook. And she's been on isogenics for 8 years now. It is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not a workout diet. It's just giving your body the best that it can receive, and in a very synergistic, balanced way. And my kids use the same products that, Wendy's using, and even my grandkids. So let's go into this a little bit further. This is my kids and grandkids here. This is about 5 years ago. This is London, after already having a shake and a sippy cup that morning. Excuse me, dealing with the cough here. So she saw the cup. They know what that cup looks like. And she crawled over and got some more. Because they love how it tastes. They crave it. And you can see Cosette here. And my son, he's been on the shake since he was 18 months old. Here he's, I think, like 14. He's 19. He'll be 19 in like a couple weeks. And there he's taking the telomere support in the shake just before school, just getting ready to head out the door, fueling his body. And we got a phone call from his teacher when he started taking the telomere support in 3rd grade. And she wanted to know what we did to him because he was behaving so well. It's like a role model student. My daughter in her dorm at college, she's all, don't let me run out of these. She's working out and being getting a dance major, and that's pretty rigorous. And she knows that she took these products religiously. She's been dancing since she was like 4 years old, and she got started on the products when she was about 8 is when we got started. And she's like, don't let me run out. So yeah, it's a family affair. We have our own isopantry, and it's a lifestyle. You want to give your body the best every day, right? And so that's what isogenics is. It's not a quick fix. It's a lifestyle approach to good health. Healthy people do healthy things every day. That's why they're healthy, right? Disclaimer, we're not making any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. You're going to see some pictures of some people that are having some real health challenges, and how the body's able to have positive results when you switch up what you're feeding your body. And so I just want to make sure that we're getting this out there. We're not making any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. It's actually illegal to do that with nutrition. Now that's a man-made law, of course, but we still have to abide by it. So let's go into telomeres. This is a deep dive. You're going to know more about telomeres and aging, and really the foundation of every one of your cells and the health of every one of your cells after watching this. Most people don't even know what a telomere is. I've lectured to doctors, surgeons, chiropractors, pharmacists, nutritionists, and most people don't know what a telomere is. Even medical doctors that have gone through all the schooling, they're like, what's a telomere? So you're going to know more than pretty much everybody on the planet after we get through with this short presentation.
And now, eternal youth. Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
I feel tremendous.
In the movie Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now, researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosome, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding, but the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size.
So who do you know that needs a bigger brain? Let's back this up a little bit. I want to get to where they showed those telomeres and kind of get to the, okay, there it is. So that's before. It shows a side by side here. Okay, so this is split. Excuse me. This is split in half. So this is before, and you can see the red on the, these are their chromosomes, and you can see the red here where it's not here. So this next video that I'm going to show you, so they said at the end of the video, the news clip, they say we're still a long ways away from being able to do this in humans, but it is absolutely an indicator of how well you'll age is the length of your telomeres. The longer the telomere, the healthier you'll age, the better quality of life. So this is what Bill Andrews was, in search of. This was his life's work. And this came about, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Bill's research with these mice. So let's fast forward, and Bill partnered up with our company, and he was tried for over 10 years, tried to figure out how to do that in humans, because the way they were doing it in the lab wasn't going to be able to be duplicated in real life with humans. And so he's stuck for over 10 years. They've been trying. They tested over 304,000 different compounds trying to support the cells to produce enough of this enzyme. So this one does a really good job of depicting the visual, and it we used to be called Isogenesis Product B. It was a black and gold bottle, but we've evolved the name and the look, but it's the same product.
Imagine if all you had to do was take 2 pills twice a day to stay younger longer. But we got your attention now.
Scientists working with a company called Isogenics say that they have promising results. Mike Holfeld looked into a latest version of the Fountain of Youth.
To be clear, it's a supplement, not a prescription drug. People that take it say they feel better and younger. Now, the medical community is starting to take notice.
Is anybody excited?
5,000 men and women packed a Las Vegas convention hall this past summer for the unveiling of a supplement that in theory makes old cells young again. The formula? Product B.
We're very excited about the results that we have.
Popular Science calls Dr. William Andrews the man who would stop time. The PhD in genetics work is based on the 2009 Nobel Prize-winning discovery of telomeres, the DNA on the tips of chromosomes that actually holds the key to why we get old.
You felt the symptoms of aging?
Absolutely. I was 40 and I felt like I was 50. Now I'm 45 and I feel like I'm 30.
Stacy Cartwright has been taking the formula for more than a year. She's convinced this blend of vitamins and plant extracts reversed her physical decline, from thinning hair to weight gain. Remember the telomeres? Scientists discovered they protect our chromosomes. Each time our cells divide, a small portion of those telomeres shorten.
When the telomere reaches a certain length, the cell dies. That's cell biology.
But the Nobel Prize-winning research found the key to that cell biology. Telomerase, an enzyme that essentially lengthens telomeres, keeps them alive longer. Dr. Andrews and his research team says Product B activates that enzyme in all of our cells.
So that's the key right there. Okay, yeah, right here. If we get to this slide right here. Okay, so as it wears down, there's a healthy telomere. and the DNA is impacted by how long that telomere is. So as it starts to degenerate away, it causes something called senescence. This would be death of the cell, like the doctor said, the cell dies. Now, if that happened in an organ with the cells in the organ that's keeping you alive, you would die. If that happened in your eyes, you would be blind. There would be no glasses that would help you. If it was your eardrum, with hearing, you'd be completely deaf. So that's senescence, death of the cell. And as it gets shorter and shorter, we start to have these complications with our health because the organs aren't running like they could. So this is the enzyme. This is depicting the enzyme that's actually helping that to repair. Just like when we get a cut in our skin, the skin repairs itself. This is just repairing itself. It's building itself back up to where it can function optimally. Now, Bill proved that in 1997. That enzyme right there, he discovered it in humans on a molecular level. They knew it was there, but they couldn't identify how it was operating. And he did. And then he started working with human cells and trying to get those cells to produce more of this enzyme. When they did, let's say this is the chromosome and this is the different lengths of the telomere. So this would be a perfect telomere with no damage to the DNA. You can see that the red tape's not as long. So the telomere is degenerated, and this is the exposed DNA. It's separated. The nucleic bonds separate, which makes this DNA ineffective. It's like it's not there. And so that's going to affect how that cell operates, because your DNA is the brains of the cell. It's the software. So here you've lost more DNA. As it goes down, you're losing the DNA this way incrementally. And then here's almost senescence, like, just before the cell would die. When the telomere gets to a certain length, remember I was saying earlier, it's kind of a misnomer how we think of aging chronologically. That's not why we age physiologically. We age physiologically because the telomere, the length of the telomere, like some people look younger for their age. Like let's say that you have two 45-year-olds. It's not uncommon to see a 45-year-old look younger than the other 45-year-old. And it's just the opposite as well. You can see some people who look way older than an average 45-year-old, but some people as well look way younger than the average 45-year-old. Well, that's because you can speed up or slow down the rate at which the telomere is degenerating, and this is happening. So really good, healthy, smart lifestyle choices would help slow down the telomere shortening. They've never seen any kind of eating, good eating habits, healthy eating habits and lifestyle. They've never seen it reverse it and get it back to here, but they did see it slow it down. And then Bill's actually discovered some things in his lab that actually speeds it up, that gets you here faster. And two things that he discovered that I think are worth passing on: trans fats and preservatives. So when we eat processed food or fast food, those are going to have preservatives and trans fats. That's going to shorten your telomeres faster. And that's why kids' telomeres, it was on the front page of USA Today, April 2012, that children's telomeres are significantly shorter than they used to be for their age, meaning they're more like around here than here, which is why pre-teenagers now get degenerative diseases that they didn't used to get until they were older. They're getting older physiologically, meaning their organs are breaking down and not running as effectively. And when they start having these problems with their health, they get certain symptoms, and then they label those symptoms: diabetes, osteoporosis, cardiovascular issues, digestive issues. Every one of your cells, every one of your organs are made up of cells that have chromosomes. And if you keep going down deeper and deeper with the magnifying glass, you would get to the telomere and the DNA as the foundation of how our cells operate, how our organs operate. And so if you're eating a lot of processed food and fast food, which is pretty much a lot of people, that's all they eat nowadays, then you're going to shorten the lifespan because they're going to get to senescence. And the Surgeon General said like 20 years ago, this is the first generation of kids that won't live as long as their parents, which is a telomere issue. they're getting to senescence and they're dying of a degenerative disease much earlier than their parents and their grandparents did. So it's the first time we've ever gone backwards. Why? My correlation that I'm going to make for you based on what I've learned from Bill, being mentored by him, what I've observed and what I know about nutrition and being involved in that for almost 20 years now, is the processed food and the fast food. And Bill's proved it. It shortens your telomeres faster. So, it's pretty much, once you start making these correlations, you realize, wow, it's more than you just are what you eat. There's more to it than that. Smoking also shortens your telomeres faster. And that's why people who smoke have problems with the throat and lung area, because that's where the concentration of those chemicals are going to get to the cells. And so those cells, telomeres will be attacked and they'll shorten much faster. And so they end up with like COPD, lung cancer, emphysema, because those chemicals are attacking those cells in the lungs and in the throat. So it all starts to really make a lot more sense. And I've lectured to doctors who don't even know what a telomere is. We've had people who are on the product and they're having positive results, and the doctor's like, what are you doing? I've never seen this before. And they're letting them know that they're taking a telomere support product. And many times I've heard the doctor's response from the person that I'm working with when they go and visit their doctor, what's a telomere? And we actually have some pretty cool stories around that. So you now know more about the foundation of your health on every level. This is every level. When they did the mice, the things that turned around. So when Bill, again, discovered this enzyme, he was able to get the chromosomes to repair themselves back to here, right in front of their eyes. They could sit under the microscope and just do all of the validating. Went from this back to this. And we see that happen a lot when we get a cut, or you break a bone and your bone cells heal themselves and weld themselves back together. So he figured it out. He proved it. And then Harvard piggybacked off of Bill's research. And it took them a little over 10 years, but they did that in mice, what Bill had learned how to do with human cells in the lab. They piggybacked off of his research. That would have never happened if it wasn't for Bill. Then the Nobel Prize was given to that research. So pretty cool information, huh? Just when we think we've known it all, we're still learning things. And it's pretty awesome. So that video, those two videos that I just showed, you can get on my YouTube channel and pull them off and text them to somebody. Just text the link and they can watch it. And this is my YouTube channel, Mechanic to Millionaire. And you'll see it right near the top on the videos. So let me just give you an idea, a visual of what's happened for people who start to support their body on this level. So this is Dick Sauter. He's 82 years old, and his daughter-in-law, Amy, came to a presentation I was doing in Wisconsin at a doctor's office. And I didn't know Amy. She just showed up to the presentation. And on the way home, she said she had a whole new perspective on aging. And so she got her father-in-law, because he was getting to where he couldn't take care of himself, both physically and mentally. And so she got him on the product, and he's 82 here, he's 83 here, he's 87 right here. He's 89 there, he's 90 right there. It's totally turning back the clock. So he's having amazing positive results. And they said he wouldn't be alive, for sure. He wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the products. And this is 12-year difference. That's the same granddaughter. So he's 12 years older here. He's 12 years younger here. Isn't that kind of weird to see that? And he's 92 now, and he's doing CrossFit. Amy just messaged me some more pictures today. And pretty awesome. He's like a celebrity. People love Dick. They come up to him at the big, events, and they want to take their picture with them. They're very inspired by, because, making a lifestyle change like that too, and being open to it not everybody's open to things, something new and trying something different and taking advice from youngsters and things like that. And Dick is just the most humble, amazing individual you'll ever meet. And he deserves to be a celebrity. All right. This is Bob Sheridan. He's known as the Colonel. He's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's the only boxing announcer that's ever been inducted to the Hall of Fame. He announced Muhammad Ali's fights. And the hospital sent him home right here. And they said, we know what we need to do, but we can't do it because you would never get off the surgery table. You would die on the table because your cardiovascular system's too weak. And by the way, your cardiovascular system never rebounds. That's why we put pacemakers in. But we can't put a pacemaker in you. You're beyond that threshold. So they sent him home with no hope. And my friends Dennis and Sharon got him on the product. This is 2011, around Christmas time, and this is 6 months later. I did a couple meetings in his home in Las Vegas. People that he knew wanted to know what he was doing. And this is 1 year. That's him, 1 year older. He's younger here chronologically. He's older physiologically. His telomeres are longer and healthier here, which makes him younger physiologically than he was here. Remember, it's not chronologically how old and how your body runs, physiologically. Pretty amazing. This looks like the son of this guy. He looks like the son of this guy. He's still alive to this day. That's Fight News. They interviewed him. They wanted to know what in the world happened. He was just in critical condition. And in the interview, it says that. And they're like, we were going to lose you. You're an icon in this industry. What happened? He talks all about this product in that interview. Bill Foster, pretty extreme case here. He's out hunting, and a lot of people thought he might not come home from this hunting trip. And his health was getting to the point where he had decided this will be the last one. Then Malcolm sent the products to Yolanda, not knowing the backstory of all this. And Bill was like me. He said no to Yolanda. I'm not going to take the products, even though she had them. She was taking them, and he's starting to watch her transformation. And when you see somebody else getting younger and having results, that's what more proof do you need that it works? And so he said, yeah, I'll start taking it. And this is a 6-month transformation. He actually started working out. And in this picture, he got up to bench pressing 280 pounds, much better quality of life, more obviously, vigorous, vibrant, and healthier, and standing up straight and putting on the lean muscle, building the body back up. And then he sent me this picture. He texted that to me. He said, I'm bench pressing 300 pounds now. And so that's about 8 months. And that's about 1.5 years from this picture here, 1.5 years. And now he wants to do a bodybuilding competition. He says, I'm going to really lean up and get ripped and want to do a bodybuilding competition for, he's 70 now, turned 70 in September. So again, you're seeing positive results. What you put in your body matters. Food matters. And so putting in the best and very synergistic, and just, again, the difference between life and almost no life. And that's a choice, right? It really is a choice now, once you hear this message anyways. And so hopefully it gets in, it sinks in, and people start to understand what this is really providing. I'm not here to sell anything. To me, this is God's work. That's what I'm doing. And I love it. I'm passionate about it. And it's like a health ministry. That's how I feel about it. Karen, I think this is the last story here. Again, Malcolm reached out to her. I was doing a meeting in Vegas, and he invited her to come, and our big company event was that weekend. And I regularly did meetings back then in Vegas every week, pretty much. And she came. She barely made it. He didn't know that she had been homebound for 4 years. Think about that. Homebound for 4 years. And she had already turned in the funeral home paperwork. They said, you're not going to make it past the holidays. So that's like a couple months, right? Here we are in August. And you got November and December coming. They said she wasn't going to make it past that. And so she did. She literally turned in all the information and had everything set at the funeral home. And she came to the meeting, and she got so excited. She bought some pills from somebody who had their own bottle there. And she said she bought 12 pills from them, started taking them that night. She said, I'm going to order my own, but I want to get started now. As you can sense the urgency, right? 2 days later, 3 days later, 1 month later. Her and her husband were freaking out, started doing meetings at her house. She was like talking to everybody. She was texting Malcolm like crazy. And this picture here, that's about 2 months in. And she said, just make sure that you tell everybody I'm not wearing makeup there. Like, we don't take pictures without our makeup on, but I want people to see where I look like raw, like what this product's doing for me. She ended up taking a Pilates class. She did 3 classes in a row, and she called me up and she said, they think I'm a freak of nature. They've never had anybody do 3 classes back to back to back, ever. And she's just, a whole renewedness of life. And now she gets to spend time and with her grandson, Ryder. Ryder gets to enjoy Grandma Karen. Now, how many people, would love to have had that happen for them being in Karen's, situation? What a blessing. She's still alive and thriving to this day, living life to the fullest. So it's about the individual, and this is what I love. If there's one new guest on here, the possibilities from one person, it's like that little kid throwing the starfish back into the ocean. It mattered to that one, even though there was thousands on the seashore, that he wasn't ever going to be able to get them all in. It matters to each one. And that gives you a sense of purpose in life when you can be a catalyst for change. And how far reaching is that? We'll never know. We'll never know. I have an idea, and she's shared with us, and I've watched, some of the benefits, but we'll never know how far reaching that is. So nutrition is everything. You are what you eat. And, not all food is created equal, even when it comes to whole foods, your raw foods that are coming right out of the ground. It takes 51 bowls of spinach in 2007 to give you the same amount of nutritional content of iron that you used to get in 1953. 51 bowls. There's no way you could eat that many. And it's not just iron, and it's not just spinach. It's across the board. I never knew this stuff until I got into isogenics, and they started pointing me to documentaries to watch and books to read and inviting me to seminars, and then the education we get within isogenics itself, and the nutritionalists and the doctors and the scientists that we attract, and we get to learn from them. It's like a whole education, like for free. And so this is the decline of minerals. This is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They're not doing anything about it, you guys. They know that this is a problem, that there's no more minerals in the soil because they sterilized it with all the pesticide use that they started using in the 1940s. And because we're not getting the minerals, this is the rise of disease. Why? Because your nutrition, the micronutrients are going to help fuel the body so that things can work properly. They need the fuel. They don't just run off of air and breathing. And then they also defend and repair. So 3 major things: fuel, defend, and repair. When you can't do that, this is what happens. Your body breaks down. It degenerates at a much faster rate. And there's study after study. This one says you can't eat enough fruits, vegetables, and grains to supply your body with the minerals it requires because they're not there. They're not there in the adequate amounts. So you have to supplement. Food Matters, the documentary says you have to supplement, but then that's a challenge as well because it's not a highly regulated industry. They can get away with almost putting nothing of what they say. They can get away with putting less than 10% of what they say is on the bottle. And that's why, there's such a bad reputation and, among doctors and, people are like, I'm taking my vitamins. Yeah, but they're not working. Well, because they don't have what they say are in it. And they use inorganic ingredients which don't get absorbed. So our environment is not like it used to be. The defending and repairing is like so critical right now because we live in a very toxic environment. And our bodies are not defending and repairing against this stuff. This is a study. They show that they find over 300 chemicals in a newborn baby every time they look. 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20. Every time they look, they find over 300 industrial chemicals. And those are carcinogens, they're hormone blockers, they cause your cells to mutate, and not a good scene. And your body knows how to address this, and it can if it's getting the fuel, but it's not getting the fuel. What is cancer is like the number one. I think cancer is like 1 in 2 now. 1 in 2. Cardiovascular disease might be the number 1 killer, and then cancer is right behind that. So Linus Pauling, the guy has 48 PhDs and 2 Nobel Prizes. He says every sickness and disease, that's the red line, can be traced back to a mineral deficiency in the human body. That's the blue line. How many minerals do we need to go in our body every day? About 60. About, not just iron that comes from spinach, you need about 60. You need about 90 nutrients in total, and the other 30 are your key vitamins, amino acids, and fatty acids. So food matters, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to manage, and get the right nutrients into your body. It's very difficult, unfortunate to say. That's why so many people lack energy and they turn to unhealthy things for energy. So many people are on antidepressant medications because their brain isn't getting the chemicals that it needs. You have healthy chemicals in your body, and your body produces those chemicals off of the nutrition that you're feeding your organs. For brain, it's mostly serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin. And when you're not getting enough of that, you'll find some addiction. And, there's healthy addictions and there's unhealthy addictions. So we want to be pH balanced. But what's happening is most people are dropping below 7. They're becoming acidic inside their bodies. The fluid of your body is becoming acidic. What does that do? Everything that's not good. It's shortening your telomeres faster. It's not fueling your body. Your body's not creating the good chemicals that it knows how to produce. It can't. Its hands are tied. Can't. And it's all a choice. I was so awakened by, getting into isogenics and learning. I'm one of those people that I do like to learn about the things that I want to learn about. And man, I just learned so much. I'm probably beyond PhD from all the information that people are so willing to teach out there. And, even when it comes to what is labeled as healthy foods, they're not. You would think people need to be in jail when you start really studying this stuff. But unfortunately, they don't even get a slap on the wrist because it's all within the parameters of what they're able to operate. So this stuff is cheap fillers, chemicals, minimum to no nutritional value. And in fact, all of these that are listed here would be like, negative. Even if there was any nutritional value, there's so much other garbage in there that it would pull it down way too far into the acidity. So that's going to affect the way you operate, both mentally and physically. So what's the answer? Well, people are always striving to try something that's going to help them, get out of the place where they're currently at. Like they'll start using supplements, they'll start exercising, they'll join a gym, they'll start jogging, walking, which all those things are great, but they fall short. They never worked for me. And I went for it seriously 3 times. 3 times I really went for it and it didn't work. And I was extreme. So isogenics just took all of that complexity and made it simple. Like I like to teach this stuff and help people to understand, like you teach somebody how to fish rather than give them a fish and then you feed them for life, right? If people understand what this is and what it's addressing, like you would never want to go back. If you love how this tastes and you're getting the results and you understand why the difference is there, you're empowered. You would never make a less empowering decision. Why would you do that? Especially if you're saving money. I'll guarantee you'll save money getting on isogenics in a lot of ways and immediately. I'm not just talking about the future medical costs from your body breaking down and what that's going to cost in productivity and medical bills. I'm talking about on your food budget and your snacking budget right now. You're going to save immediately. So if it tastes good, you're getting these amazing results and you're saving money, why would you ever make a less empowered decision? You wouldn't. So the education part is very important. This will get you to homeostasis in the first week. Why? Because it has more than the 90 nutrients. Those micronutrients that your body needs, this is closer to 200. And then you have the telomere support. Put those two together, it's a 1-2 punch that's supporting the body. Both of these by themselves would be supporting the body in the way they've never been supported before. But together, and then you take some of the other pillars that we have, I just don't want to throw too much at somebody too fast. And this right here is a great combination to get results right away. And, to get that quality of life and the way you want to feel and the energy and the aches and pains going away. So release some extra weight, But we have other products that you'll organically want to learn about. But I say create a habit first. Make this the foundational habit. And just drink that one shake every day for breakfast and then take the 2 pills in the morning and 2 at night. Make that your foundational habit. And I guarantee you, you're going to get into homeostasis. We see it with people who measure their own pH. But you'll see it in that you'll either not eat some of these things anymore or you'll eat way less. Like for me, no soda, no coffee, no energy drinks, no rock stars in 17 years. Snickers, I've only had 4. I used to eat them every day. I've only had 4. It's like Cosette, my granddaughter, they gave her a candy bar when she was like 3 and she spit it out and said caca. Why? Because alkaline bodies prefer alkaline foods. Acidic bodies like acidic foods. So why didn't she not like the candy bar like every other kid would? Because her body's alkaline and candy bars are not alkaline. Doesn't mean you can't have a candy bar, but you're going to need way less and way less often. Guaranteed. You'll save money that way as well, but even over just replacing a meal, because this replaces a complete meal. Remember, this is micronutrients. This is better than any meal you could put on a plate. Like in a court of law, we would win on that all day long with the clinical studies. So I'm going to show some pictures here of this. I'm going to show the clinical study as well real quick, and then we'll wrap things up. But look at the difference. It's a night and day difference. Garbage in, garbage out. Awesome in, well balanced, micronutrients. The body's getting everything it needs to defend, repair, and to fuel. Even look at the expression, the brain chemistry there. Same thing here. That's like the deer in the headlight look, and this is like, yep, I'm operating on all cylinders right now. They're all firing. Look at that compared to that. That compared to that. And even that one, look at that one. That's a big old smile. No hiding that smile. And as far as putting on lean tissue, so important. Me and Malcolm have been talking a lot about this and how muscle is so important as you get older. Everett was only 112 pounds. His health was so poor, he couldn't even drive a car. He couldn't even walk on his own. He had a walker. And he put on 14 pounds of lean muscle in 30 days. Lean muscle has way more to do than what you think when you just think of muscle. How the body operates, it has a big deal. There's a lot of science behind that. And I'll show you in the clinical studies that we absorb more of the protein and it's assimilated into the body. Chase, as a teenager, couldn't put on the muscle. Didn't matter what he ate, what supplements he took. His body was not absorbing the protein. Look at him here. He put on about 14 pounds. Katie. Heather now is a health coach. That's People Magazine. She released over 125 pounds. Kenya, over 439 pounds. She's closer to 525 pounds now. So the clinical study shows a lot of these pictures and my story. Remember I said I didn't work out for that first month? I released 27 pounds in the first 25 days. This is with no exercise. Going against whole food, your macros that you're buying at the grocery store, they had to stay within that parameter. And for 6 months, no exercise. We released 4 times more fat and put on 4 times more lean muscle. So important. This is with no exercise. And this wasn't going up against junk food. It was going up against what the grocery store has to offer. That's the best. Stuff that's growing right out of the ground. Increase the metabolism. Why? Because nutrition fuels the organs. Fuels, defends, and repairs. We see so many unprecedented healings from people with trauma. And I'm one of them. From a motocross accident I had. They said it would take up to a year before I'd be putting my weight on my leg again. And because that was one of the top 3 doctors that did my surgery in the United States. I was running stadiums in 3 months. Back on the dirt bike just after that 3 months. Toxins released, getting the garbage out of the body. Those toxins that were in the baby's blood, over 300. The body knows how to get rid of those. The mother's body should have gotten rid of them. Get them out. We don't want them in here. Get them out. But the organs aren't being fueled to be able to do what they know how to do. He proved it. This is all clinical stuff. This ended up in medical journals. This made him famous. He wrote a book about it, this study. Then he did one with athletes because he said, this is so far out of the norm, I wouldn't have believed it had I not done it. If I see these kind of numbers, I think that's BS. There's no way the body did that. And he did the study, clinical study, peer review, and it's in medical journals now. In fact, the Mayo Clinic called us when he published this. So he did one with athletes thinking, yeah, they'll do a little bit better because I can see it here. That's got to transition over to here to doing something for top performing athletes. These were not slouches. They picked the top 40 best athletes that showed up. There was over 200 people that showed up for the study. They picked the top 40. They worked out less, stopped using their supplements, and started using isogenics. And this is the improvements. So isogenics, remember, this is a lifestyle approach. This is why we get so excited about this, because these kind of results is from doing what everybody's doing already every day. And yet the results are so profoundly and dramatically different. That's why I'm still around here 17 and a half years later, as excited as I've ever been, because I know what our products is going to do for somebody who might be a guest on here tonight. So I don't know these kids here, but they definitely are not on the track for, having, superb health, because these things don't support health. They take away. We've proven that now, and I know way more about that than I used to. I know these kids, those are Crystal's kids. I was just on a phone call with Crystal today. She was an OT, and now she's doing isogenics full time. And I know that kid, that's my son. This is a default decision, these kinds of meals right here. And this is the middle of the road price for a prepared meal. Like if you're going to stop somewhere and get a meal real quick while you're in the car, that's about the middle of the road. It's a little bit less for some things and a little bit more for some other things. Ours is $3.50. There's no comparison. You're getting way more nutritional value. I mean, all these micronutrients that don't even need to be part of a meal. We have superfood nutrients that are thrown into that shake. See, with supplements, you can make a meal better than what you can get out of the grocery store, because you can add whatever you want in there. If you want to add a whole bunch of stuff, then you're going to surpass what you can get from your fruits and vegetables and grains. And that's not hard to do nowadays. This here, this is just continuing to subtract. There is no nutritional value in this. Why would anybody do it? Because it's a default decision. This is an informed decision. 240 calories compared to 750. Imagine if they put a soda drink in there with that. The grams of fat, 37 compared to 6. 24 grams of protein, 33 grams of protein. See, but Chase, that teenager, was already eating these kinds of food. He was eating whatever he could. He's on the seafood diet and couldn't gain weight because this protein is not absorbable. It's dead. A lot of protein shakes out there are dead too. They're oxidized. They're worthless. The way that they're manufactured and formulated, ours is cold pressed. It's alive. And then we throw in all these other things. 24 grams of complex carbs, not processed carbs, which turns to sugar in your blood faster than eating a Snickers bar. That'll spike your sugar, your glucose levels in your body faster than eating a Snickers bar or ice cream. Because carbs, processed carbs can turn to glucose faster. They do turn to glucose faster. So if you did that meal every day versus this meal every day for a month, inflation is making us look good. Really better and better as the weeks go on. About 6 months ago, that was $140 or $340. We've gone up almost $100 in 6 months because of inflation. And it's not peaking. It's not going down. It's going to continue to rise. And people are going to start feeling the pain. A lot of people already are. But the people who aren't, they're going to start feeling the pain. Isogenics is so proud that we've been able to keep this down as much as we have. So let's look at the difference. 90 nutrients, your body has to have them. We're closer to 200 just with the shake, right? Linus Pauling, remember what he said? I'd listen to him. He has 48 PhDs and 2 Nobel Prizes. This is a mirror reflection. That's Jill. That's Kenya. That's Heather. That's Katie. I don't know who that person is, but I could probably guess what their diet consisted of. And I do know her, Lori Harder. She took Miss Universe after getting on isogenics. She had never placed in the top 3. Look at the difference. Food matters, and not all food is created equal, and you could say the same thing about supplements. I hope this is sinking in. I'm hoping you're understanding. I can't make you understand. You have to let it in. You have to make some agreements. You have to discover some things and reevaluate some things. I've been doing this for 17 years with this company. Prior to that, I was a mechanic. Why was I a mechanic? Well, first of all, I dropped out of high school, but I liked working with my hands. And I really appreciated the mechanic that helped my dad. My dad's a school teacher, and we had 11 kids in our family. And he would always come over and fix the car. And he'd do it for way less cost-wise than if my dad took it to the shop. It really helped out my parents. And there was something as I was a kid and getting to know Sam, there was just something I valued about that. One of the reasons I became a mechanic is because I could be honest and trustworthy, and I can help people who are in a tough situation with their vehicle. And I always felt good about that. I have no shame for being a mechanic. I love being a mechanic and how I can help people. And that's the same reason I'm doing this, but it's on a much higher level. That's why I do this, not to sell somebody. I've been with the company 17 years. You think I'd be around if I was like, scheming and taking advantage of people? There wouldn't be that kind of longevity. The reason that it's been this kind of longevity and success is because the products work. And I went from changing people's oil to changing their lives. And anybody can decide to do that wants to. So, I really like this slide because it really shows like in real time what's going on and what makes the difference. So just one slide on this, and then we're going to finish up. If Costco said, hey, if you bring us 2 new customers that don't shop here, we'll give you 50% or more off of your grocery bill every time you shop here. If you bring more than 2, we'll give you more than 50% off. But a guaranteed 50% off every time you shop here. If you just bring 2 customers that will just continue to shop here, get a membership with us. And we'll pay you 2% on all of those 2 people. Anybody that you create as a customer for us, we'll give you 2% of their purchases. Whatever they purchase, we'll pay you once a year and give you 2% of whatever they purchased. So you get your groceries off for half or more, and you're going to get some money back from how much, depending on how much they buy when they come and shop here. Who would be motivated to go out and say, hey, have you ever been to Costco? I remember the first time I went to Costco, I went with my mother-in-law after I'd gotten married. And I had never been to Costco. And I was like, what is it? Everything's ginormous here, right? Like Elf. These toilets are ginormous. So that's what my experience at Costco was like. This is crazy, and I tried to shop there with her card. They wouldn't let me. Her picture was on the back. They're like, that's not you. I can't. I must have had one of those checkout people that just wasn't going to budge. So I couldn't buy what I was put in the cart. So now Costco, of course, does not do this, but they do. If you get this membership, the executive membership, it's $100. The regular one, just to be able to shop there at wholesale, is $50. But if you want 2% back on your own purchases every year, you pay the extra $50. So if you're like me, we have that. We got our check in November, beginning of November. It was $241, I think. And so really I got $141 because it cost me $100 for the membership, which I can't eat that. So that was my overhead cost for the membership. But they gave me 2% back, which is better than not. Like I'm ahead, right? Rather than getting just the $50 one. So it probably depends on how much you spend at Costco. They say the more money you make, the more you spend at Costco, which is probably true. Now let's take Isogenics. They do give you referral bonuses for creating customers for Isogenics, because that's the only way they create customers is word of mouth. But they also give you 6% back, not just on your own purchases, but on your entire team's purchases. And whatever anybody purchased that week, they pay it on Monday. Every week, we get paid every Monday. 6%. So what do I mean by your entire team? When I share it with somebody, they get their own online account. And now they can, order from Isogenics. When they get their own account, it links us together like a family tree. And it does that on infinite levels. Anybody that shares with anybody in my team, no matter who they are, no matter how deep, I get paid 6% for life. Every time they order something and reorder, I'm still getting residual income from people who enrolled in my team 17 years ago and are still ordering products. So 17 years, I've been teaching a lot of people. A lot of people have been getting results. A lot of people have been sharing. Close to 400,000 people now. $10 million. That's leverage. It's like Carlita. She's like, when I heard I could get paid 6% on every single order to infinite depth, hello. That made me millionaire number 279. If you're a go-getter and you don't mind talking to people and helping people, explaining a few things, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just, you're just speaking with your tongue, right? And there's a lot of people who are looking for solutions out there right now, especially right now. Me and my wife are the 69th millionaires 10 times over, and we're at 413. They just announced the 413th millionaire just the other day. 413 millionaires in 20 years from customers that, you know, started out shopping there and we liked what we got, and then we, you know, saw the value and shared with other people. Then when you learn this, if you really understand, I'm going to go over this after this presentation for those that want to hang around. I'm going to go over this 6%, how that works. When you see how that works, I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. I was too excited. So this is a month's supply right here. This is 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. This is 1 shake every day. You need 2 canisters, and we have a lot of great flavors. And then you have the collagen. There's 10 in a box. That's a month's supply. Let me just show you some of the pictures here. That's about 4 months. That's about 8 months. 6 to 8 months right there. That's him, and that's her. This looks like her mom, and this looks like her mom. They're all 3 her. Incredible results. From drinking this little 2-ounce bottle that tastes amazing. There's a lot of science in this. They broke through. They broke the code for collagen, that's for sure. And it's not just helping the outside. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the body, and it helps with your ligaments, joints, tendons, bones. My wife had an amazing result with her knee in just 3 weeks, and she had knee pain for over 10 years. Even had surgery. None of it helped. So look at that. You're never going to get this guy to exfoliate. At least I'm judging a book by the cover. I don't think this guy would sit in front of the mirror for 15 minutes every night and morning, you know, doing the thing. But he'll drink a great tasting 2 ounces. I wish it was more than 2 ounces. It tastes so good. And then this is 1 year right here for her. 1 year. Called the little 2-ounce bottle of Amazing. 42 days for her. 42 days. Look at her chin. She got a chin lift. Natural. It's just about, you have to consume collagen in order for your body to be able to benefit from it. And it's the most abundant protein. You have to consume it. And really at age 25 is when you need to start doing that. 30 days, 30 days. Look at the difference. We're even seeing it with hair. A lot of different hair testimonies. Look at the difference on what collagen is doing. I had no idea. Look at the hair there. My daughter, after having a baby in 3 days, she said, my stretch marks are going away because I gave her some collagen. I didn't even know about her stretch marks. And she just said, it's only been 3 days. That collagen's amazing. We're even seeing it with blemishes and scarring. So this is 2 weeks on the collagen. That's all she would do. She didn't want to do anything else. Crystal had tried for over 3 years to try to get her on these 2 products. But then the collagen came out and she's like, yeah, I'll try your collagen. It worked so well, she got on the rest of the products before the month was up. This is a 1-month transformation. But she even felt better just taking the collagen. So 187 for the Forever Pack. That's, what did I say? That was 350 with the telomere support. 350, I think it brings it up to like a little over $4, about $5, $6 a day or something like that. But 187, you can do the math, just divide that by 30. But that's the complete right there, whole for 30 days. And it's a 30-day money back guarantee, unconditional money back guarantee. I guarantee you'll save money. I've always been saying that, but especially with inflation right now. Like I said, inflation is making us look really good. With the whole thing, the Forever Young Pack, everything is $287. These are the wholesale prices. Remember, we're like Costco. Everybody does get the same price, and you don't have to pay for a membership. Everybody gets the wholesale price. That's what I would pay for this. That's what I do pay for this. $287 for everything. That's still way less expensive than that food-like stuff. That's not even food. Literally, the definition of food is that you get the adequate amount of essential nutrients. This is nowhere near that. So that's not food. Under the definition of food, that is not food, because you're not getting the adequate amount of essential nutrients from that. You get a lot of other stuff, but not the essential nutrients. If you share with 2 people, create 2 customers, you can start making an income with Isagenix off of everybody that orders, including your own orders. So you have some options. You can be a wholesale customer and just use the products. I have a lot of people in my organization that just are using the customers. They're satisfied customers. You can get your products paid for. You can go for financial freedom, ABC. Just let the person know that got you here so they can kind of know how to support you. We're always looking for runners, people that just want to go out and, improve their own lives and other people's lives simultaneously. You can choose who do you know that eats, who do you know that has cells, and who do you know that has skin. Maybe you know somebody that has all 3 of those and they would like to know about this. You can decide. All the products are available individually. And, so when you get the website, you have access to all the products of Isagenix. So let me stop the recording there. Thank you for watching this and taking the time to do that. I really honor you and really, strive to deliver the most important information that I can in the least amount of time so that you can make a really informed decision for you and your family, your loved ones, and whoever else might come to mind. So let me stop that recording.